What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't joined me already, my name is Devin Durbin and this is the Durbin Compound. So today's video is going over the Ironclad Ranchworx glove. If you didn't watch my previous glove discussion, last week I think the video came out, you can click right here in this link to the upper right and go over and watch my glove discussion where I went through a bunch of work gloves and what I thought was the best, from the worst glove up to the best glove that I could find. One of the best gloves I could find was this Ironclad Ranchworx glove made of goatskin leather. So the whole reason for this video today is not only to review this specific glove and give you some up close and personal about it, but what I wanted to do was go through exactly how I tested this glove and how it holds up. So I've had this glove for about 2 years now. I've thrown a lot of wood with it. I cut wood to heat my home, so I really put my gloves through the test, and that's what that video is all about, is discussing a work glove that holds up to the rigors of what you're doing with it each and every day, whether you're outside working on something or maybe just a woodworking project or something like that where you don't put a lot of stress on the glove, but it still needs to hold up. So this is by far one of my favorite gloves. I haven't had an issue with these gloves. I even went and bought another pair because I wanted to do some testing on these gloves. Or this pair I already had. So the Kevlar is nice. It's stitched in right in your thumb area there. So you can really use this when it comes to hand tools. It comes to shovels and all that stuff. It doesn't wear out here. So what I just got done doing over the last couple days is washing this glove with a bunch of other stuff, whether it was microfibers or towels or just standard laundry. What I wanted to do was subject it to anything and everything that you could possibly throw at it, because one of the concerns that me and Aaron had was he was worried about the leather actually breaking down when you washed it, and he was worried about washing it when it got saturated with sweat. His ideals behind it were, hey, the glove has just got to go. So I wanted to test that theory and see exactly how this glove holds up. Now, some of the cheaper synthetic leathers, if you do throw them in the washing machine, I have had them break down, literally fall apart and be worthless. So I went ahead and got a new pair of gloves. These I got straight from Menards. So these Ranchworx cost $22.99 at Menards. They're a very good glove. They break in very, very quickly. They're made of goatskin leather. They're fully wrapped around the tips of your fingers. Awesome glove. They got some impact rubber pieces on the back of the fingers. They have a nice breathable area, and they're not tight around the wrist like I like. So these are by far one of my favorite gloves. Went and bought the pair at Menards just to have it local, just to have it for the video. You can get them cheaper on Amazon. Now the prices do vary, but the large set costs $15.74. So for $15, $16 respectively, you can get a pretty darn nice work glove that holds up. So when it comes to washing this stuff, machine wash cold, line dry, do not machine dry. So the whole reason why I ran this other glove, you can see the difference between the leather. Obviously one's a medium, obviously one's a large, but you can see how the leather darkens up over time. So old glove, new glove. This is a couple years old, and this has now been through the wash 10 times. This is brand new, straight off of the wrapper. I just cut the wrapper off of it, or the hanging piece. Just cut it off. So brand new glove versus couple year old, 10 washes. So I know that a lot of people don't necessarily follow instructions when it comes to washing gloves and stuff like that. So I wanted to subject it to a couple different scenarios of you just throwing it in. So I washed it on very hot, the hottest water I could get, which if you haven't watched my previous videos, I heat my domestic hot water with my wood burner so I can push it out at 185 degrees. And that goes straight through the pipe, straight to the washing machine if I don't have it mixed in with cold water. So very hot means I washed it at 185 degree water. Remember, this is machine wash cold only, and I don't have any degradation in the leather whatsoever. So ran it through 10 times. I went ahead and dried it twice to see if that would make a difference. The other times I just let it hang dry, and it dried overnight, and It's pretty malleable. Really didn't break down the leather whatsoever on the palm of this glove. Now the stitching, I did notice that some of the stitching in the part of the glove at the end where the stitch is just doubled back, I noticed that began to fray, but not in any way came apart or anything like that. It was literally just the end of the stitch that came apart. So dried it in the dryer for 2 of the cycles and literally have no degradation in the glove. It looks good, it's clean, it's not, you can't see the sweat in it anymore. It literally has held up to anything I've thrown at it. So it's obviously a lot more wearable now. Feels a lot better. It's basically like a second skin. The leather is so soft. So I didn't treat this with mink oil or anything like that. I literally have just worn the glove for 2 years, done a lot of stuff with it, and then I decided to wash it 10 times to see exactly how it held up. The stitching around the Kevlar is pretty good. I'll roll in some close-ups of the glove in the palm laying on the bench so that you can see exactly what it looks like up close and personal. I'm really happy with how this glove held up, and just the pure punishment that I put it through, because heck, a lot of people don't follow instructions, and a lot of people aren't going to just wash it cold. They're going to throw it in with whatever they got, and they're going to dry it with all the other stuff. So that stuff happens, and it really doesn't affect the glove. So other than the leather just being a little shade darker naturally because it's been worn and it's been sweated in and it's been worked, it really is the same glove. There's a little bit of stitching fray, but nothing coming apart. So that's why I stick behind this glove. I stick behind a lot of Ironclad gloves. These things are awesome. So that was just a quick down and dirty little testing that I did on it, and I felt like, if I was going to push out that it was one of my favorite gloves in my glove discussion, then I was going to put it through the test, buy another set of gloves just in case this came apart and this was trashed after a couple loads. But heck, it's held up, so it's going to go back in the lineup as a tested and tried, and it passed my test. So 100% recommend this glove. For $16, you really can't really go wrong with this glove, especially if you're using it for really high demand, especially in your palm. Leather holds up. It definitely does. So I highly recommend this glove. Go out and get yourself a set. They're not expensive. I mean, you try it for you. Do not be overwhelmed with how rigid the glove feels at first. When you first put your hands in these, it's another thing. When you go to the big box store, you're trying on gloves. There's no real way to try on both of the gloves at the same time in the store. They always have it here attached to a cardboard hanger or something like that, and it's literally impossible to try both gloves on and feel what they feel like. So you kind of really want to take them off and feel them. But this goat skin is a little tight at first, and it wraps all the way around your fingers, so you can see it wrapped all the way around the fingers. It's wrapped around the tips, so it's going to be a little tight for a little while. Just break these gloves in. Maybe you even wash them first. Throw them in the washer as soon as you get them. Make it a little more malleable. Maybe you use some mink oil or something to get it, or some leather conditioner, and massage it in the palms to get it a little bit more flexible when you're working with it. But I highly recommend this glove. One of my favorites. It's held up through the test of time, so I have no qualms in recommending one to you. It's got Kevlar reinforcements. Just recap: Kevlar reinforcements, rolled fingertips, goat skin leather, and the stitching seems to be bulletproof. I don't know exactly what stitching is on here. It's got terry cloth on the inside and conveniently located on the back of the thumb, so nice there. It says uses: ranching, forestry, HVAC, search and rescue, heavy equipment operation, driving, I don't know who would drive in these, construction, heavy cable and wire handling. So all day long I would recommend those for all of those professions. So great glove, awesome, put to the test, tried and true, baby. It is one of a kind. I haven't found another glove that outdoes it for sure. So highly recommend. that's my review on the glove. I hope you like it. If you want to see more of my content, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications because I'm coming out with a video every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at noon. And hope you like the content. And if you got any feedback, hit me up in the comments. I'm learning just as much. I'm not an expert on anything, so I'm learning just as much as the next guy. I just hope to bring my opinions and my knowledge of what I know so far to the table. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next video.